Who is at Puri? Ashish.
Ashish.
Hi Ashish. Jai
Yes, sir,
Jagannath.
I was in Puri.
Jai Jagannath.
Jai Jagannath, sir. Okay, so last time, until which verse we saw, and this time just you tell me the starting of the verse so that, when I chant, I can chant that.
We did till verse 4, Bhaskarji.
Okay.
And the fifth one is Yan Mansa Na Manute Yena Ahur Manomatam.
Got it. Okay. I only need the starting one actually. Okay. Okay. So we'll chant the initial one. Now it can go. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Padyantam Vande Guru Paramparam. We will chant the special Shanti Mantra of Kenopanishad also. Apyayantu mamangani Vak pranas chakshusrotra mato balam indriyani cha sarvani Sarvam Brahma Upanishadam Maham Brahma Nirakuryam Ma Brahma Nirakarot Anirakaranamastvanirakaranam me astu Tadatmani Nirateya Upanishatsu Dharmas Temai Santu Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Okay, so this time we are going to look at this verse. I'll chant that verse first. Yan manasana manute yenahur manomatam tadeva brahmatvam vidhi nedam etidam upasate. So each line, the theme is that the answer for that particular first question is being given. Keneshitam patati preshitam manah kena pranah pratama praiti yuktah keneshitam vachamimam vadanti chakshushrotram kavudevo yunakti. So these four aspects were asked. For each of this, the answer is being given. So ordained by which the mind works, ordained by which the ears work, ears hear, and eyes see, mind falls on its objects, and the prana flows. So this was the question, and the answer comes thus. Shrotrasya shrotram manaso manoyat vacho kavacham samu pranasya pranah chakshusha chakkur achmutta dhiraha praityasma loka amrita bhavanti. So everywhere it was being said that the one which is beyond all these things, the one which is behind all these things, to support this is that actually, and what you see right now in front is not what is the substratum. The substratum is something different. So that is what is being said. So here this line says, Yan manasana manute yenahur manomatam tadeva brahmatvam vidhi nedam yedidam upasate. So that based on which mind works. Basically mind thinks. My mind's function is to think and feel. So this is what it does, and these properties, whatever it does, or these actions, whatever it does, it is based on that self. So the one on which this mind's function and mind itself is based upon, that is the one actually. That is what we have to meditate as Brahman, that Nitya Vastu, and not any other thing. So, Yan manasanu manute yenahur manomatam tadeva brahmatvam vidhi nedam edidam upasate. Not any of these things actually which people say this and that. These are not the things which people take things to be ultimate. So think that to be the ultimate. So that Nitya Vastu. So in each of these lines, what we are being told is that about Nitya Vastu only. So if I just go further,
You want me to read from the book?
no. The next line, is it Yadi Manyate Suvedeti?
In this fifth mantra, Bhaskarji?
Yeah, the next one, after Yen Manasana Manute.
He's saying, Yen Mansana Manute, Yenahu Manormatam, Tadev Brahmatvam Vidhi, Na idam Yadi Tam Upasate.
After this, is it after this, Yadi Manyate Suvedeti? Is that the line?
Next is Yach Chakshusha Na Pashyati. Next shloka.
Yet Chakshusha Na Pashyati, Yena Chakshunchi Pashyati, Tadeva Brahmatvam Vidhi Nedam Edidam Upasate. Same thing. That by which I see, and not any of other things. So that force which is behind the strength of eyes for it to see also. So that is the force we are talking about, and not any of those things which we take for upasana. That's what that line is saying. After that, I think Yadi Manyate Suvedeti comes, right?
Next is Yach Shotren Na Sharoti, Yen Shotranidam Shrutam.
Okay. Here they are saying about, they're talking about the hearing, the sense of hearing. That by which everything else is heard. Just away from Bluetooth. So, ears itself need the support of that Vastu. And we are talking about that Vastu is what is being said there. Again, Shrotrena Shunotena Shrutam Siddham. So what is the next line after that? Because all thematically these are all repeated one by one, because there are 4 aspects asked. All these 4 have been answered in the same way actually. The next one is Yadi Manyate Suvedeti.
Yat Pranena Pranati, Yen Pran.
Okay, now prana is taken up. Again the same thing actually. No thematic change. The same thing. That which is behind prana, based on which prana works, that's what is the reason for that. And prana by itself cannot be taken up straight away for analysis. So that's what is being said there actually. Nedam edidam upasate. Tadeva brahmatvam vitti. That which is ultimately supporting all these things. Tadeva brahmatvam vitti. That is what Brahman is actually. So don't dwell on any other thing which people say is what Yadi Manyate. What is that? Nedam edidam upasate. Not that which people mistake that to be. So Nedam edidam upasate. After this, what is that?
These are this is the new chapter begins, Bhaskarji. This is the 8th
we
one.
can go to the next one. We have to go to the next one actually. Because thematically it's all the same.
So, Bhaskarji, one request here. Like this 6th, 7th, 5th, 6th, 7th and 8th that if you can just give an insight a little bit more insight on this. They are on the same pretext, but if you can give a little bit more insight, it will be very clear, because it is picking up each sense and then explaining each sense that this is not Brahman.
Understood. Okay, I can say. See, for example, if the question goes thus, we happen to ask an IT professional, for example, that, by which force this printer is printing? By which force this display of the VDU or laptop, the LED display is happening? By which force this speaker is working? And by which force this image of mine is being captured and shown? And by which force the software that is controlling all this is working? So this you can kind of link to mind and different parts of body. So the IT person says all this is based on the concept of electricity. Electricity is the basis for making all these things meaningful in their respective functions. So how electricity is very important in this? The entire function related to computers is on the basis of 0 and 1. And 0 and 1 just mean whether power is there or not there. So power is there, it is 1. If it is not there, it is 0. So this is where the concept is. For one to understand whether power is there or not there, that power has to be there. That's the power actually, there or not there. But okay, so in this example, always examples will have limitation. It can never be that ultimate. That's what ultimate is all about. So in this example, the IT person takes us to that crux and substratum on which the entire concept depends. But the person who is the user is not able to go to that level without that guidance to understand that the entire thing what is here is running because of the electricity. That electricity what is there normally is used through conductors basically to make some of the simple things work. So if someone has to just switch on a geyser, fine, let it go, and then there is a resistor and then it works. But the very concept of this semiconductor, that's where things come a little bit. That's where Maya also plays, right? So the semiconductor part is something different actually. It conducts, doesn't conduct, so kind of something happens there actually. So that's where I think the chips are involved. So that's where you have this concept of 0 and 1, and then this being interpreted, and finally it becomes like a thing which is able to portray that there is an independent thinking happening based on the program we have given, and this entire thing is based on 0 and 1. That's it. Power being there, power not being there. That's it. So that's what is the entire system. So this IT system, the IT person will come and say that, see, this is the concept on which this entire system is working, and based on that command, even the printer is working, and printer also needs, in any case, the basic electricity to be able to print. So that basic electricity is given as the tattva based on which the visual display unit is working, and the camera works, the speaker works, and the printer is working. So chakshu, prana, manas, and shrotra. So all these four can be compared to these four peripheries, what I was saying, including mind equated to, you can say, software. So you can say. So this is how the question was asked by this person also from a human body perspective. And the answer comes back saying that on which mind is based, mind is able to even think. That's what we are focusing on. And what we want is mind of minds, ear of ears, eyes of eyes. That's what, that's how the answer is being given. So that which is the substratum is going to be revealed. Tadeva Brahmatvam Vidhi. That Brahman is what it is going to be revealed even more and more. And what we are seeing is the initial lines only. So this is akin to this person, the IT head, making us understand that, see, this electricity is the basic thing based on which everything else is working. So let's understand the electricity part, everything else is done. So that's what electricity, 0-1 concept. Once you do that, the entire world of computers will be understood. So this is what, this is the parallel that I can give for these four verses. So Manishi, is that clear, or you would like to have some follow-up questions?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, through this example, when I was reading this, what I could understand that I think that the discussion is all about that what is even like behind the eyes, what you see, behind what the power of seeing, power of hearing, power of speech. The Brahman is even beyond that. What you are, like eyes are, and what you can see, and Brahman is beyond that understanding.
Correct.
Is that understanding correct? That Brahman is,
Yes.
so eyes can see only because of the power of Brahman. Ears can hear beyond because of the power of Brahma. Brahman.
Yes.
Is that what it is?
Absolutely.
So-
Absolutely. Yes. So, Brahman cannot be objectified through senses. So, that's the reason when the question was asked, the answer was not like showing a 3D model saying, see, this is the reason behind that. For years to work, this is a 3D model. Look at this 3D model. That's how the answer would have been if it was a gross object. But then that's not the way it is. So that's the reason it is said that by which ears work is Brahman actually. So it is not something which ears can see. So ears cannot hear, eyes cannot see, and mind cannot objectify it. Mind cannot objectify it. But then how then we understand everything through mind only. Then how are we to reach Brahman? Brahman being what it is, Brahman being that everything, and especially Brahman being that Chit, in the form of Chit, which one is. That's where there is a possibility to reach that. So, if one is the Chit, then where does mind fall now? Mind is a subset of that actually. And when we step into the shoe, like stepping into the shoe is a nice word actually. So when you step into mind, obviously we start thinking with the limitation of mind. And obviously the question will be, okay, how does this mind work? I mean, how do the sense organs work? Will be the question we will ask, because we are inside the mind now. Had you been outside of it, you would have already objectified mind and body itself and said, okay, fine, this is just a creature. Like the way we will be, not that attentive to a mosquito which is flying nearby, unless, of course, it comes and bites us. That's a different thing. So we'll be kind of, agnostic or indifferent to that body and mind if it was not us. Now, we have stepped into the shoe. It is like a shoe only almost, unfortunately. Keeps wandering. So, this mind, you are captivated into this mind now, held captive. And from that size of understanding, this question is coming. So, if we have got into a bubble and we are asking a question from the size of that bubble, limited to that size of bubble, then obviously the one who is from outside, who is able to see that we are stuck in this bubble, maybe of 5 meters radius or diameter. If there is someone else who is able to envision and see that we are stuck, the first thing they have to do, the first job they have to do is to call this temporary boundary which we have created for ourselves. So they have to say that, okay, boss, you are thinking from within this framework because you are stuck in this bubble. So let me poke this bubble. It will burst. Automatically, you are already free. It is just that you got, you got yourself into this bubble. Right now, at least that's the situation. You are otherwise free. And since you are in this bubble, when you see upwards, you see this inside part of the bubble. So there is the limitation. You see right side also, you see the same bubble, the concave side of that. Again, you are seeing this concave side of this side down. Everywhere you see there is boundary. You feel bound. That's because you just got into this bubble. Now, if the bubble is poked with a very simple thing, actually, I think that's where I think the needle prick is very, very simple. So the needle prick happens with those lines, right? What is said in Tattva Bodha. For Atma, they very, very clearly say, right, that which is beyond these three bodies and that which is Satchidananda Swarupa and that which is Chit, basically, that's what you are. So basically they say that, okay, all this thing what you're seeing is all the capsule. This encapsulation is there. So come out of this encapsulation, remove this encapsulation, you are already free. So the Satchidananda Swarupa, you are already. And as I said, in Sat Chit Ananda, Chit basically is that Vastu actually, which you are. And Sat is more a relative thing to say that this is the only thing that always exists. Sat means it's beyond time. It's always true. And Chit, you are that already even now. You are that consciousness even now, based on which everything is working. And Ananda is more to say to a mind that, okay, you came to this session to be out of sorrow, which sometimes happens. And then sorrow was presented as coming out of mind, and the problem itself is because of bondage, and that bondage is because of ignorance. About what? About our own true nature. So once we understand ourselves to be that Chit which is everywhere, which is unlimited, which is infinite, automatically the sense of being limited is gone, ignorance is gone, which was the root cause for bondage. Obviously the problems are also gone. So problems or dukkha which was given by samsara, you have sukha and dukkha as well, but dukkha is always a problem, sukha is never a problem. So no one brings a problem to us saying that I am very happy. So that's never a problem. Somewhere when they see they are not happy, which is what is given as sadness, that's what comes as an issue. So for a person to say that this is Ananda, it is a Purna Ananda, that Ananda has to be said. That's the reason you have such Chit and Ananda. Of course, that Ananda can also be taken as Ananta, which is endless. So both ways it can be said. So these are the punchlines which is used by Shastra to poke that bubble.
Sir, but
all that we are doing in Vedanta is just to call out the bluff and just point where the root cause is and poke that. That's all. If there is a problem in one place, I mean, if it is identified, then you have to only concentrate on that place, and the moment you clear that place or infection, whatever in that particular point, the whole body is taken care of. You don't need to go all over actually. You have to just point out where the root cause is and only attack that. So Shastra says that, Shastra understands that the person who is asking this question, he is asking this question based on his own limited understanding from the size limitation, from as well any other capacitative limitation. So this is what it already understands. So while it gives the answer itself, it says, okay, you are trying to see the ultimate, the root cause through your senses. So please understand, the senses cannot see it, because it is based on that particular ultimate on which this is a subset and this is working. Obviously, this cannot objectify it. So again, coming back to the question, then how does mind objectify? Mind has to help Shastra in allowing it to burst the bubble. That's the only thing it has to do. All that it has to do is just allow Shastra to burst this bubble. So how is this allowing process, to happen? Is it like, the way we just extend our hand so that, someone is able to give the vaccination to us? So is it like just keeping quiet and allowing something to operate on us, just like the way we do probably maybe in any of the scanning test or whatever? No. This is through vichara. This is where the trick is, the tricky point is actually. So mind has to be deployed in understanding, in getting the understanding that mind is mithya. So this is where the tricky part is actually. So mind has to work. Mind cannot be totally tranquil to an extent that it can't even understand, or even it can't even get the sound of what Shastra is saying. It can't be that tranquil. Yes, it needs to be tranquil, and it has to avoid the noise from external world to an extent that it has to allow the sounds of Vedanta at least to go inside. It can avoid the noise and not the sound of Vedanta. Shabda Pramana, it has to allow to go. So, mind, through its lending to vichara, will be able to allow this Shabda Pramana to poke that bubble. And once the bubble bursts, you are already free. You already would know that. After that, there are no questions, no class actually. So that's how it works. So all these lines, they keep reiterating that please understand, you are asking your question from this kind of a size, which is an assumed limitation, and that is being called out. So sense organs and mind cannot objectify that Brahman. Brahman is that by which everything is working. So please bear that in mind. Is that what is being said here actually? All this while. So this is where, I always keep giving that patent example. For everything in the gross world to happen, you can say that the first Panchamahabhuta, first of those Panchamahabhuta, space, has to be there. Once that is established, everything else can be established. From our understanding perspective, we can take it that way. And one has to understand that space itself is relative, it does not exist. When one understands that there is only consciousness which is existing, and since obviously consciousness cannot be objectified because it is ourself, no. It's just oneself and there is nothing other than itself. So it can never be objectified. You can be that, you can't see that. So that's how it is. So since consciousness is that ultimate thing and it cannot be objectified, obviously you don't see consciousness and much less this sense organs, which is a product, can see it. It cannot see it. That's where the tricky point is actually. So space is the adhara of anything that is material, but space itself has its being in consciousness. The moment you understand you are Chit, at the point where you are, and there is no point actually. So from a limited understanding of mind, we understand space and time. And as I said earlier also, time is the distance between two thoughts. And space is the distance between two objects. So this is how it works. So time is just mental. It's just mental actually. Now, how space can become mental? Because when we have a limited understanding and a kind of boundary, that is where you have to distinguish between objects. You start objectifying and seeing objects actually. And that's how you also see your body and objectify, or take yourself to be that body. And then you see a distance between you and the laptop, you and another person. So the spatial distance also comes once you take that limited understanding. You set a point, then there is another point actually. So that's how it works. But when you set a point and you understand that you are the Chit, not the mind. When you just understand that you are the Chit, which you are all the time, and also understand along with that the Chit is that which exists everywhere, beyond time, beyond space, job is done. Because once you understand you are the Chit, and the Chit is everything. I mean, there is nothing called size for it actually. See, again, when we have to use the word, it's there, it's everywhere, it is omnipotent, omnipresent. So all this we have to only say for a mind. Because it is still, bound and the bubble is to be burst. Imagine the once bubble is burst, the concept is what? You are the Chit right now, and Chit is something which is not limited at all. It is beyond time and space. We don't need to use the word everywhere, here, there. We don't need to use that at all actually, ideally if you have to. But obviously for mind to understand, you have to say all these words. So Shastra is just making person to understand where the wrong understanding is happening. It has to only correct the understanding. It need not do anything more. Because the Vastu is already here and we are that Vastu. Since we do not know that and we are talking from a limited, bound size, you can say, it is operating at our level to say that, somewhere you have to come out of this idea and understand that truth, which will be revealed later. So that's what is being said here. So the whole process is, to correct the wrong understanding. So that's what is happening actually. And this will keep on happening throughout. Yes, Manishji. Any follow-through questions?
No, not a follow-through question, but something which I... So, when we look at the vastness of space, and in that vastness of space, maybe we are very, very, like not even equivalent to a dot in this space. Like it's not related to this, but there might be that what we are trying to achieve. There might be that there is somebody who is, or maybe if there is a different planet, and maybe everybody has this realization. We are maybe on the path of this. Maybe there is somebody who has this, like everybody who lives on there has this kind of a realization, and they already understand what we are trying to explore, or we are still trying to understand. And they maybe in this journey of Shastra, and in this journey of knowing oneself, maybe they are very, very ahead of us.
Possible. We are talking about samsara. So samsara includes many things actually, and it can have people who are better than who are better in understanding than us. It can be low. So when we come to comparison, there are many shades of comparison. There are multiple possibilities. So no one can rule out what you're saying actually. It's all there. But in our analysis, what are we doing now? The person who's asking this question has already come out of those things, and he has come close to where he is facing the problem, and that's why he's confining to his body and mind only. Because he's understood that world in any case this is an issue. Let's understand this first. So, to know world, even Brahmaji can never know world actually. Because once it comes, Bichara he creates. After that what happens? Only Vishnu and Shiva will know it. No. He creates. He will not understand what the hell is happening to it later. So, for example, let us see this farm laws which was being introduced. It was a big change which was being brought in India. Many things were done. So, Parliament, they created it. That's okay. But what happened after that? There were protests, there were this, there were that. It could not sustain. Finally, it was rolled back. So, the creator himself can never understand what's going to happen with these things actually. There itself, you have departments. The sustainer will know what is happening during the period actually. Vishnuji will know. Bichara, so many guys would go and worship him saying, "Boss, isko ठीक कर दो." He will be wondering, यार ब्रह्मा ने तो create करके दे दिया, लेकिन मुझे sustain करना पड़ रहा है. People come with sustainability issues, pollution issues, तो create तो कर दिया. And you have also created such case who create pollution as well. And I am stuck with this issue. Shiva, no problem. Oh, he just simply thinks, what is the big deal, boss? Keep quiet. Automatically things will resolve. Pollution को थोड़ा ज़्यादा होने दो. They say no. बांस रहेगा ना बांसुरी. Though that they say no. So you have created earth, nice. You have created these creatures which is capable of destroying this. Don't worry, अपने आप destroy हो जाएगा. I am the destroyer. I am very happy. I am seeing that it is going through destruction. Let it go. But Vishnu will be really, really worried. In between, how do I keep people happy? So this will happen. So you see the total picture. When we see from this analytical perspective, from mind, from this sense of size or whatever, compartments, it can never be full. So that's where we are shown, we are being pulled out of, this kind of a narrow vision to a height where we can see everything. And to see everything, yes, this is the journey, and mind has to be first told that what you are seeing is quite micro. And that's where the problem is. You come little to macro, then you will probably understand what you're seeing is insignificant. It is not even worthwhile asking this question. So this is how the system is kind of lifting a person to probably see a little better. Either you go completely micro or completely macro. In between what is what is going to create a problem. So that's the methodology being adopted here, wherein it is calling out this boundary. So Manishji, the question you are asking is, yes, it is about samsara, anything about samsara right now is kind of kept in abeyance because the sadhaka has decided to understand the phenomena within this body and mind. So, this sadhaka has stopped asking anything about outside actually, because outside thing in any case perhaps he's already understood that anitya vastu. I think he's already understood that part because of sadhana. And the question itself, straight away what he's asking, all those 4 questions, they relate only to the body and mind. So that's where, as of now in this journey, anything about another world is not valid because that is already thrown out as a part of sadhana itself. So the world is already negated as of now. So we have already come to this level where we want to only worry about our body. बाकी का दुनिया का बाद में समझ लेंगे. और दुनिया के बारे में already we have identified that it is a part of anitya vastu. That's all. Anitya category. Let's understand the nitya category. That's how it is. I want to read that those lines. Yadi manyate suvedeti. That I can chant this actually. Then maybe we can read that. But is that what that comes next after this? Shotram, Manas and all.
Yes.
I'll just tell you, Askar. Just a minute.
The first word you have to say. That's all.
I'll just.
Yadi manyasye suvediti.
यदि मन्यते सुवेदिति, यदि मन्यसे सुवेदिति. That one, no?
Yes.
Okay. So, यदि मन्यते सुवेदेति दहरमेवापि नूनं त्वं वेत्थ ब्रह्मणो रूपं यदस्य त्वं यदस्य देवेषु अथनु मीमांसमेव तं मन्ये विदितं. So, that part we can, if someone can read the immediate English translation, please.
It is the teacher is saying, if you think I know Brahman very well, then you know very little of Brahman's nature that is expressed in human beings and in the gods. Therefore, Brahman is still to be inquired into by you. The disciple says, I consider Brahman is known. That's the immediate translation.
Then
yadi manyase suvede iti. Suppose you conclude, I know Brahman very well. The prefix su gives a special meaning here, that of knowing like one knows an object. The teacher says, if any one of you were to conclude, I know Brahman, then you know very little of Brahman's nature, the truth of Brahman. It means that you do not know, because remaining as a knower, one cannot know Brahman.
So,
Then yad ved.
So this
Correct.
is, I
So
think, very
here also-
strong statement.
Yeah. Sorry?
I was saying it's a very strong statement. Knowing Brahman, like if somebody says, I know Brahman, means that you don't know Brahman.
In fact, you will find this kind of words even further actually in this. So, basically what is said here is that when I say, for example, if I come and say that I met Krishna, Lord Krishna yesterday. So, obviously, we can either believe or not believe. And even if he has seen, so the point is, if he saw Krishna as someone walking to him in those attire of Krishna, so one has to still think whether he saw Mr. Krishna or whether he saw that consciousness which is Krishna. So consciousness which is Krishna is what we want, not that person who is Krishna. Because the person who is Krishna with the body, mind, sense complex is as limited as we are. The only thing can be the gradation can be different. In a company, you have MD, you have a clerk. Okay. In terms of capabilities and powers, they may be different. But in terms of their limitation, the body being limited and the body being subjected to time, both of them will have the same problem. One may have longer time, other one may have shorter time, but then finally it is bound by time. So if I come across Krishna and as a person, he will also have the problem of being subject to time, because that is how samsara is. That is how any product of samsara also is. So here we are not talking about understanding the totality as an object, because anything that can be objectified as an object will face that limitation what our own body also has. Here we are not talking about something which can change. We are talking about Nitya Vastu. So if you are talking about Nitya Vastu, one can never say that, by the way, I saw a Nitya Vastu in that shopping complex. It doesn't work at all actually, because Nitya Vastu is that which is everywhere. By its own definition, it has to be everywhere. So I cannot say that, by the way, when I was in class, I understood something. No, it has to be always there. So that's how Nitya Vastu works actually. So, Shastra is very clearly saying that you can never objectify that ultimate, that Brahman, through your senses. So, if someone comes and says, because of hallucination also one great thing actually, in psychology, this comes in. So, hallucination also makes a person feel that these objects are there. I mean, what we have in world right now, even when you are in the good senses, itself is a hallucination. That's where Maya works. Maya is the biggest hallucination actually created. And within that, some more hallucination can happen. You can imagine. In dream world, someone is dreaming. You can imagine that actually. So that's how it is. So Shastra is trying to say and call out the limitation of this sense organs. And it's saying that sense organs are good for understanding and transacting with sense objects. And sense objects are actually nonsense objects. They only attract to create dukkha later. That's what it does actually. So they get attracted to get, correct. The sense objects attract the senses to only create a problem later. Of course, maybe happiness for some time. So Shastra is pointing out that all that what you can see through this sense organs definitely is not that Vastu. That Vastu cannot be objectified. So if a person in the class comes and says that, by the way, yesterday I had this experience of Brahman, then Kenopanishad is saying that person is wrong. If he is saying that I have seen, it is wrong. So basically, it is in that sense. But what is the result of, what is the phala that's going to happen after Brahma Vidya, after Atma Vidya? One is going to say that Aham Brahmasmi. So when he's saying Aham Brahmasmi, he is saying I am already that. He is not saying that I have known Brahman. He will not say I know Brahman, because I is already swallowed there actually. I am Brahman. That's the conclusion there actually. So there the understanding is not like, okay, on this side we are Sharira with all this sense organs, and on the other side of the table we have Brahman, and I had an appointment the other day with Brahman and I am very satisfied. I am okay with the Atma Vidya. It doesn't happen that way. The other side is gone. That's what Advaita is all about. The other side itself is gone. There's nothing like a side actually, because there is no space, no time. So side and all is the language to be used only when understands world is got space, dimension, everything. Well, these are all, size is something to do with dimension. And basically it is related to space. If space and time are swallowed, most of the vocabulary, they get swallowed in that. And what probably two words which still makes meaning, that remain are I am. That's all. And once you say I am, even that word Brahman is not required. Aham Brahmasmi, we can just say Aham Asmi. That's it. Aham Brahmasmi is also not needed. Aham Brahmasmi is needed only as long as this mind is used as a tool to understand as ultimate by giving up this bubble. Until then, all these words make sense. Even for ultimate, the word ultimate is also useful. For that ultimate, you give a name, anchor it, Brahman, that name has been given right through for our identification. Once understanding happens, even that can be dropped. I am is more than enough. So after that, if one understands, you don't need to say I am, because that is also a thought. you are already there. You don't need to even think that you are there and say that you are there. You are already there. You are just there. That's it. That's what Chit is all about. And this is where we say that Chit does not interact with anything else. But without that, nothing works. So this is what it means actually. When we say that while Brahman does not need anything else for its existence, but everything else, they need Brahman for their existence. And the deal here is superb when the inquirer comes out of this sense of being limited, sense of being trapped into these five senses and this mind and this body, and understands that these are all anitya vastu, all that we can objectify. Our own body we can objectify through our five senses. All these are a part of this changing world, anitya vastu. And nitya vastu is that person who I am as Chit. And as Chit, I am just available for every possibility that can happen here. And I don't need to be worried about any of this because I don't participate in any of this. The moment I get encapsulated, my participation is great. I form a team already. I'm a player, great player already there actually, gone. So you will have another one, who will come and defeat. All this will happen. The moment I understand that I'm not that limited thing, I am this ultimate, everything is done. This is where it goes. This is where Shastra is taking us towards. So time and again, after the question is asked in Kenopanishad, Shastra is only trying to bring that person out of that limited thinking, out of that thinking which is just limited to sense organs, sensory perception. So basically, I think when we started itself, it was saying perception and inference are the only means to understand. But Brahman is that which cannot be understood by any of these things. It is a different method in which it has to be understood. We have to only cancel all the wrong understandings. Automatically right understanding comes about. That's the method being adopted. So in some of the next verses also when we see, maybe when we'll see in the next sessions, we will see that the same point gets reiterated more than 2-3 times. So those verses are also very good actually. They're beautiful. I'll keep them for those next session. But those verses are also very good. You will see this exact repetition of what is happening. If someone says that he knows, he doesn't know. So that also comes. I'm very tempted to say that. Yasya matam tasya matam matam yasya nevedataha avijñātam vijānatam vijñātam avijānatam. So some of these lines come very nicely actually. So the same point will be ingrained again and again, repeatedly for our mind to really get more serious and understand that point. So this will come. So we'll see that in those next sessions, unless we have some more follow-up questions now. Good. If there are no questions, we can probably conclude the session. We'll chant Purnamada. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om.